Hey guys, this is Jade here from Couch in the Mind, clearing the mind one couch talk at a time. On today's episode, episode 18, I've got Jacob Bevis with me, aka Bev from the Bev Show. How you going, mate?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me. A pleasure to be on, and hope you're well.
Mate, the pleasure's all mine, and for what you've achieved, it's truly an honour to have you on the show, mate.
Yeah, thank you. And we're just speaking off air, and you're telling me how you support me and what I do. So yeah, I thank you for the support, and yeah, really thankful to have supporters out there that support what I do.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And I think there's a reason as to why you're the supporters, mate, because what you achieved is awesome, man. And obviously you started off very small, minuscule, when you built up to having 45,000 followers now. And there's a reason why you've got those followers, mate.
Thank you. Really appreciate those kind words.
No worries, mate. But yeah, the topic we'll be covering today is taking the mickey. And the reason why I say it is because the approach that Bev goes about on his page, on his sporting commentary videos, his horsing videos, whatever it may be, the way he approaches them is a way in that he likes to take the piss out of himself. And through that, people love it. And ultimately, he grabs people's attention, and it just seems to work as a whole for himself. So the topic we'll be going over is taking the mickey. And yeah, as always, guys, if you mention something that you may not possibly agree with or it may offend you, please stop, pause the video. If you enjoy watching the video and it doesn't offend you at all, please continue to watch it. And yeah, that's all from me. I'll hand it over to Bev, and he can start his story of the Bev show, or even before that.
Well, I guess I'll give you a bit of a backstory on how it all started. I suppose it all started in 2016. I've always been into, even before then, always been into being on camera and sport and media as well. The media side of sport really does interest me, the commentary and the sports broadcasting as a whole. So I'm a big dog supporter, as a lot of people would know, I suppose.
We've got Trelaw. We've got Trelaw.
Yes, he's at the club now, which is fantastic. But it was actually the day after the 2016 grand final that I sort of started the idea. Facebook live streaming was relatively new back then, so I sort of tried it out. I turned it on, and I was sort of expecting to be on there for 5 minutes, but I was on there for an hour and a half in my dog's gear, answering comments and just talking about the grand final and even other things as well. It was quite cool actually to do, I guess, a live stream for that long, and with people that tuning in that were generally interested in it.
Yeah.
So that's where it all sort of began. And then, this was just happening on my personal Facebook. It wasn't, the Facebook page didn't exist at that point. So I did a couple more, and then decided to create this Facebook page, and called it the Bev Show. And it really started with the live streaming, and then over time I've started to sort of evolve it with sharing my passion for my sporting clubs and sport. And it's really become a place where I share my passion for sport. I've sort of labelled it over the last year or so content by a passionate sports fan, because that's what it is. And and I mean, you mentioned before about taking the mickey, and I mean, if people find it that way, and I guess take the piss out of me, then so be it. As long as I'm making people happy and feel entertained, which
That's awesome,
I think is a big sort of goal of it, as well as sharing what I'm passionate about as an individual.
Yep. And I want to take a step back from what we're talking about now in terms of where you're at with regards to your Facebook page and what you're doing currently in life. What did Bev look like? What did Jacob Bevis look like before starting up this Facebook page? What did the life of Jacob Bevis look like?
Well, I went to school not long before that. Started the Bev Show a year after college, and in my half of my first year of uni, I started halfway through the year at uni. So that's what I was sort of doing before that, I suppose. I did have a YouTube channel. I was doing a little bit of YouTube before the Bev Show, but it didn't really take off. I had a very small audience. nothing compared to what I have now. So I've always had that interest, sort of, before the Bev show, and I did a media course at college where I made a cool documentary, and so yeah, I guess that was life before. I was always passionate about sport.
Yep.
I guess the difference now compared to before the Bev show is I've put it all into a page and gained a few sort of 40-odd thousand followers, which is fantastic.
And obviously, you can't expect to get positive feedback 100% of the time. When you do receive that negative feedback, how does that affect you mentally, and how do you overcome those hurdles?
Yeah, I've definitely. It's definitely something I struggled with early, especially when I sort of hit the sort of peak of that sort of, I guess when I sort of took off a bit with sort of gaining a few more followers than I expected. It definitely came with that sort of negativity from, a minority, and even those sort of small minority that don't like you so much that they want to do as much as they can to take you down. So yeah, I mean, I struggled with it early, sort of, looked at comments and it did sort of upset me a little bit. Sometimes I would make the big mistake of replying to certain comments through Messenger, which is not the way to go about it. But as I've sort of evolved, while sort of, running this Facebook page, I've sort of learned to deal with it, sort of come to the reality that, this is sad, but it's a part of what, if you're going to do this sort of thing, it's part of what you do, I guess.
100%.
You're going to get the small people that they're not going to find it funny that you're jumping up and down in a camera, woohoo, you beauty, and calling them pesky Melburnians or saying go Canes or go the Dogs. There's that minority that, or, group that won't like that. So, it's just part of it. And that's what I've sort of tried to come to terms with. I do sort of, every now and again, get a bit, when I'm doing the live stream, for example, and some comments that I don't really like come in, it does get a bit frustrating at times, but I have learned to better deal with it over the last sort of 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because if there's people listening in that may potentially, they may have posted a photo up on Instagram, Facebook, or someone may have said something in person to them that they don't particularly like and it's put them in a bad headspace. How do you feel like it's the best way to overcome that in terms of the situations that you've been faced with in regards to the negative comments that you've received?
Yeah, I suppose, talking to someone, I have friends that care, I have family that care. I think that's probably the first step. If you feel like you're being bullied, then talk to someone about it. Bullying's not acceptable. We know that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, online it's become it's become a very big issue, hasn't it? And one that can really damage people. I'm lucky. I've built a thick skin over the time, but there are people out there who don't have that, and that's fine. We all deal and take in different things in different ways, and so yeah, talking to someone's probably my best advice. I've definitely learned to talk to people about these sort of things, I guess doing your best to I guess realize that person. This is how I look at it. If I'm posting something and I'm looking at a comment that from someone that I hardly know or know nothing about, and they know nothing about me personally, then that's a good way to look at it, to not worry about something that has been said by someone that you really don't know. So I guess does that make sense, I suppose?
No, exactly. I know exactly what you're saying, Bev.
Yeah.
And I find out for a fact that most people that do reach out to those negatively are actually struggling quite immensely. And the best way to express that is by taking it out on someone else. So I find the best thing for me is to not take it personally, because you said, absolutely. You don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. You don't know what they're going through. So as negative as it is for them to do that to you, the best way is just to brush it aside and take it as nothing, because you don't know them.
Absolutely. And we see a lot of it online. I mean, I can't recall many people coming up to me and saying some of the things that I've read online in
Yeah,
face to face. Like I have a lot of people
exactly.
come up to me and say hi and stuff, but I can't recall. I mean, I've had, a couple of people come up and say nasty things, but not to the extent of what would be said, through a computer, through a keyboard on a computer
Exactly.
screen. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it as well. And I mean, yeah, social media has become such a big thing, good and bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. And jumping back on board in regards to how you've actually built up your following base with your Facebook page, how did you actually manage to do that? Because I know it's very hard to do that, and I'm trying to do that with regards to my podcast. How did you go from nothing to being so big in such a short period?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure. To be honest, but no, look, I am sure. I mean, I guess with my passion for sport, my videos about the Hurricanes and the Dogs, etc., they bring something different. We don't see a lot of those type of videos online. Like we see supporters and stuff, but not in that sort of context, I suppose. So I guess doing something different has sort of and something that people find amusing as well and entertaining is probably what's got me to this point. Also the sharing and the tagging side of things really do help on social media. Facebook's such a big platform, and when people, find something that they like, they'll often share it and tag someone, which then they might do the same.
Word of mouth.
Exactly. So yeah, probably just bringing something new, I suppose, to social media, something that's really different and really wacky and really sort of niche, I suppose. I mean, I was, the live streaming, when I started the live streaming in 2016, it wasn't as big as sort of once I started doing the hurricane stuff was when I really started to pick up followers, I suppose, and then people have come into the live stream as well from that. And so, doing something different, I suppose, is probably what's got me here to this point, and I'm all for it.
I think if someone can replicate you, Bev, they'd be dreaming, mate. You're one of a kind.
Yeah. I guess also, I mean, saying, the Woohoo You Beauties, which just come out, I mean, they're never planned. They just come out, and same with all my other sayings as well. I suppose that's a contributing factor as well.
And for those who may be potentially wanting to create their own social media page, whether it be in terms of sport or makeup, anything in general, something they have an interest in, or just wanting to start up something from scratch, what is sort of the advice that you would give them?
I'd say just go for it. Is probably my first piece of advice, and just stick at it. I mentioned before I did a YouTube channel for a while there, and didn't have hardly any viewers, but I still did videos and stuff. And I guess if you do as much as you can, something's going to happen sooner rather than later. You're going to find something that's going to really set you on your way. And I did that with my Hurricane Dogs videos and all that. Just begin and persist and be patient. If you're really passionate, I think you'll get there. Whoever you are, everyone is unique, and everyone has a different personality. For
sure.
And I think if an individual persists at something that they're passionate about, then they're sooner or later going to reach success, no matter who they are.
Definitely. And I think what we've got to remind ourselves is that it's not going to be a smooth road. It's not going to be a straight line road. There won't be. We can't have this assumption that there won't be any bumps or cracks in this long straight road. There's, we go up this roller coaster, and eventually we're going to go down. There's got to be hurdles that we're going to be thrown at us, and you've got to be able to overcome those hurdles to get to the stage of where you're at now, Bev, especially.
Absolutely. I mean, I've I mean, you know, I've been sort of building my follower base, but I can't say I haven't had hurdles along sort of my 4 years of doing this page. There's been my fair share of hate, and we spoke about that before, and yeah, there's been plenty of bumps for me. I even took the page down for a week a couple of years ago, but sooner or later I was back and doing it all again. So yeah, you do have bumps, absolutely, in anything you do, whether it's social media influencer or mechanic or whatever job it is. I mean, there's bumps in every walks of life, and I've definitely had my fair share over my life and fair share over the time I've been doing the Bev show, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And staying along the lines of overcoming certain hurdles or bumps within life, were there any big hurdles that you had to overcome before even starting up the page? Years before the page, whether it be through schooling life, family life, your mates.
I mean, I guess at school, I wasn't the brightest student at school. I struggled I was not very good at maths and stuff like that, I suppose, if that's sort of a thing that I...
It's me as well, Bev. Don't worry. We're in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I wasn't popular at school either. I was bullied a bit at school. I wasn't really... I didn't have a lot of friends. I had friends, of course. But yeah, I wasn't, a popular person at school, and definitely had my challenges. I mean, the page, just happened, but just happened based on I was really interested to do it, but yeah, I think I definitely had my challenges before then. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think what you've got to remind yourself, man, is where you are now, and through those challenges, sometimes there's a bit of growth. And I find, and this is what I always tell myself, that throughout every negative situation that you may be faced with in your life, there's actually so many positives that you can gain out of it. And ultimately, for some reason, and I know for a fact I do it, we tend to focus on the negatives a lot more rather than the positives. But fast forward down the track to where you are now, like positively, you've grown through that, and through some of the negative hate you may have got or the bullying you've received at school, you've now grown much more thicker skin. So that way, when you receive negative feedback on your page, you're more accustomed to brush it aside.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got to just tell myself that, and I try to do this as much as I can, that, you're always going to get negativity in all walks of life, from people that, don't know any better themselves, to be honest. But it does happen. It's one of those things, and if you ignore it and do all the right things, then anyone can overcome it. I've definitely received my fair share of negativity while I've been doing this, but I definitely have to definitely made sure I remember that there are the people that support me, and that's the people that I care about, for sure.
Exactly.
And think about to lift me and to motivate me when I do feel a little down from some of the negativity and hate I get for doing what I do. Obviously, there are people out there that feel entertained and feel amused and I guess laugh at some of the things that I do, and if it's making people happy, then at the end of the day, I'm happy, to be honest.
That's awesome, man.
If jumping on my bed, makes someone, laugh until dawn, then so be it. I mean, and look, this is probably a good thing to mention. I often get, and this is a popular negative comment. There's often someone that will pop up in one of my posts saying, "Oh, they're just taking the piss out of you," or blah blah. But if people are taking the piss out of me, so be it. I mean, I really, if it's making them feel entertained, then I've done my job, haven't I? Really.
Yep.
I mean, it's I do generally put it up there to showcase my passion. But if people want to take the piss out of it and feel entertained through that way, then so be it. I mean, you're not making people sad by doing that. You're making people
sure,
happy and making them look forward to what you've got to offer next. So it's a good way to look at it for sure.
Yeah, certainly, man. And on the lines of what you've got to offer, next, or what are you actually planning on doing next? Do you have any big plans for your page, or branching out into other social media platforms?
Well, I want to become a sports broadcaster. That's my real dream. If I can, be in the commentary box at the MCG, commentating an AFL game, then I think I've fulfilled my dream and fulfilled, I guess fulfilled my sort of life goal, and I'll die a happy man if I do that. I mean, or even if it's just presenting at the racetrack or whatever it is. If it's sports broadcasting is a big goal of mine. So it's not gonna be easy. I'm still a long way off that, I feel, but definitely something I'm definitely working towards for sure. And I have the passion there for sport, and so hopefully I can achieve that at some point. So that's really the goal. Yep. Where the Bev show will go, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of just one step at a time for me with the page, to be honest. I mean, I never really planned. 4 years ago when I started, I never planned to, be jumping on my bed after the Hurricanes won the semi-final against the Perth Scorchers. I mean, in 2018, I never, that was never planned. And then that just happened. And here we are now. So hopefully I can keep the page going for a long time. And I guess also the thing is you've got to try and find new ways to keep people interested as well, because, not everyone is going to, I guess some people do lose interest, I suppose. So yeah, definitely keen to keep that going. And sports broadcasting is the goal.
Mate, that's definitely not unachievable, man. For what you're doing now, for what you've achieved already. All you need to do is set small incremental goals, continually achieve those, and before you know it, mate, I reckon you'll be in the commentary box.
Hopefully,
next to BT.
Yeah, it would be a dream, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be. I wouldn't stop looking at him. I don't reckon if I was sitting next to him commentating. That's for sure.
Mate, what would you say to him?
Oh, gee, I don't even know. Love your work. I mean, I do. I love his commentary. I mean, he gets some stick at times, but gee, he's a good commentator. He's, like we talked about, unique. Everyone's unique and everyone has a different personality. Well, he's one of those guys, and we love it. Oh, I love it anyway.
Well, he's got such a distinctive voice, and he's such a well-known commentator that every time I think of Orazio Fantasia, I can't pronounce it the way I've just done it without thinking of BT going Orazio Fantasia. Like it's so driven in the back of my mind that I can't get it out of my head. Like it's just there every time I think of it.
No, he's very good at what he does, and he always makes you laugh. That's for sure. When he's commentating footy games, he's never short of laughter. That's for sure. Providing laughter to someone. Yeah,
that's for sure. And if you got any lasting messages that you might want to speak to tell the viewers in regards to maybe overcoming a certain hurdle. I mean, we've already covered a couple of things that you may have suffered mentally or what you've achieved throughout your life. But is there anything else that I haven't mentioned that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, I'd probably just say if there are hurdles in your life, and there will be, I'm sure everyone has their hurdles. You just got to persist and do your best to overcome it. Like I said, I've had my hurdles while doing the Bev show. I mean, a couple of years ago, I had a Facebook page attack me and upload all these. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I had this Facebook page upload all these screenshots and all this of me, and I thought at that point, I thought, gee, I don't know if I could continue this. But people were very supportive and people were very understanding, and that was actually the point. That was actually when I took the Facebook page down and had a break, and it wasn't until that point I sort of realised how much support I really had, because people were messaging me on Instagram and really getting behind me. So, and here I am now 2 years later after that. So you just got to overcome certain things and certain hurdles. If you can overcome your hurdles, you're definitely living life to the fullest. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And I just want to say that I'm, extremely proud of you for what you've done, for what you've achieved,
Thank you.
the hurdles that you've overcome, and for where you are right now, mate.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and appreciate the support from you and everyone out there. I mean, the Bev Show wouldn't be what it is without the viewers and the supporters, and that's a true fact. The supporters are definitely number one priority when it comes to the Bev Show. So no, I appreciate the support from everyone and yourself, and thanks for getting me on today. Really, really appreciate it. It's been a good chat.
The pleasure's all mine for, to have someone of such a big following base and to have such a big impact on people is such a big thing to have on my show, man.
No, thanks for having me. Really, really appreciate it, and all the best for the show ahead.
Thanks, mate. A bit of a weird request. Do you reckon you could do a bit of a Bev impersonation of Couch in the Mind to wrap up this episode?
Okay, what do you want me to say?
Mate, the stage is yours.
Whoa, you beauty, Couch in the Mind, you ripper dipper.
Thanks, Bev. Appreciate it. Thank you again for being on the show with me, mate.
No worries. Anytime. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
it. Mate. This has been episode 18 of Couch in the Mind, clearing the mind one couch talk at a time. And the episode and the topic today we went over was taking the mickey with Jacob Bevis, a.k.a. The Bev. Catch you later, mate. And if anyone has any questions, I'll leave Bev's social media account in the link below. And as always, if you need me or need to talk to me for anything that you may be struggling with, I'll leave all my links below. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Catch you later.